The body is able to repair injured vessels and stop bleeding through a mechanism called hemostasis. When an injury occurs, von Willebrand factors are exposed, triggering platelet adhesion and aggregation. This is primary hemostasis, where a platelet plug is formed. Primary hemostasis is followed by secondary hemostasis, where clotting factors are activated, leading to an end product, which is a fibrin mesh. This stops bleeding and allows tissue healing. Bleeding disorders can occur when there is a problem in primary hemostasis or secondary hemostasis. Bleeding disorders from primary hemostasis are either because you have low platelet count or there is platelet dysfunction. Primary hemostasis disorders causes superficial bleeding, and so the clinical features include mucocutaneous bleeds such as bleeding in the nose, the mouth, the gastrointestinal tract, petechiae, ecchymosis around the body, and you can have excessive bleeding from minor cuts. Bleeding disorders from secondary hemostasis are because of problems in the clotting factors. This can be due to clotting factor deficiency or presence of clotting factor inhibitors. Clotting factor inhibitors prevent clotting factors from forming a clot, and so clotting factor inhibitors increases the risk of bleeding. Secondary hemostasis causes deep bleeds, and so the clinical features, you can have ecchymosis, bruising. They do not get excessive bleeding from minor cuts because the platelets are still able to form a platelet plug. However, the key features is that they cause deep bleeding into joint, muscles, or soft tissue, forming a hematoma. Let's focus on primary hemostasis bleeding disorders first, which as mentioned is either due to thrombocytopenia or platelet function defect. Thrombocytopenia can be simply caused by reduced production by megakaryocytes in the bone marrow, and they have many causes for this. It can be due to increased consumption of the platelets, such as in disseminated intravascular coagulopathy or thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura or hemolytic uremic syndrome. Or thrombocytopenia can occur due to increased destruction from whatever cause. Causes of platelet function defect include the use of antiplatelet agents such as aspirin and clopidogrel, which inhibit platelet function. Another cause is uremia, which causes platelet dysfunction and increases the risk of bleeding. Those were some examples of bleeding disorders caused by problems in primary hemostasis. Bleeding disorders caused by secondary hemostasis are more complicated because there are many clotting factors involved in secondary hemostasis. Secondary hemostasis is the coagulation cascade. Clotting factors are numbered with Roman numerals, and when activated, it is followed by the letter A. So for example, factor 10 becomes factor 10A, 10A being the active form. So let us revise the coagulation cascade quickly. Here you have the intrinsic pathway, and here it begins with factor 12, which in turn activates factor 11, 9, and then 8. The extrinsic pathway, following the platelet plug formation, tissue injury causes expression of tissue factor, which together with factor 7, 7A, will activate many molecules of factor 10 to become 10A. The intrinsic and extrinsic pathway activate factor 10, which is the beginning of the common pathway. Factor 10A then, together with the activated factor 5A as the cofactor, activates prothrombin to become thrombin, which is factor 2A. Thrombin molecules then converts fibrinogen to fibrin, which is factor 1 to 1A. The resultant local generation of fibrin in turn enmeshes and reinforces the platelet plug, which was formed from primary hemostasis. Factor 10 to fibrin, which is factor 1A, formation makes up the common pathway. Bleeding disorders involved in secondary hemostasis can be evaluated by checking what's called aPTT and PT or INR. These screening tests help evaluate a person's ability to appropriately form blood clots. Activated partial thromboplastin time, which is aPTT, mainly is used to evaluate clotting factors in the intrinsic pathway. Prothrombin time, PT or INR, is used to evaluate clotting factors in the extrinsic pathway. For the common pathway, you can measure the aPTT and PT. So essentially, a prolonged aPTT, a prolonged PT, or a prolonged INR would indicate that someone has a tendency to bleed or that they have a bleeding disorder. And what this means is that likely there is something wrong in the clotting factors, whether there is deficiency or whether there is presence of an inhibitor inhibiting the clotting factors. So let's take a look at some of these causes. The causes of a prolonged aPTT and PT include deficiency of really any of these factors in any of the pathways, and mainly factor 1, 2, 10, and 5. Severe liver disease can cause a prolonged aPTT and PT because the liver produces some of these clotting factors, including 2, 9, and 10. Vitamin K deficiency can cause this. Vitamin K is required to make some clotting factors from the liver. Causes of vitamin K deficiency include, if you have reduced dietary intake or reduced absorption from the gut because you have Crohn's disease, or surgery of the distal small intestine where vitamin K is absorbed. Warfarin toxicity causes bleeding because it inhibits the synthesis of vitamin K dependent clotting factors, which include factors 2, 7, 9, and 10. Other causes include amyloidosis associated factor 10 deficiency, disseminated intravascular coagulopathy, heparin overdose, and essentially too much heparin will inhibit more than factor 10. It can inhibit factor 2A, 10A, as well as 9A and 11A. You have the NOACs or DOACs, which are the factor 10A inhibitors. These include apixaban and rivaroxaban, which can prolong aPTT and PT. Then you also have the direct thrombin inhibitors, such as dabigatran. Bleeding disorders with a prolonged prothrombin time means something wrong with the clotting factors in the extrinsic pathway. These include factor 7 deficiency, because this is part of the extrinsic pathway, liver disease, because factor 7 is produced by the liver, vitamin K deficiency, warfarin use as well. Bleeding disorders with the presence of a prolonged aPTT means something wrong in the intrinsic pathway, and there's a lot. You can have deficiency of the factors within the intrinsic pathway, 8, 9, 11, 12. Other causes include von Willebrand factor disease, the severe form. Normally, endothelial cells make the von Willebrand factor, which gets cleaved. They bind to factor 8 and actually increases the half-life of factor 8. And so if you have low amounts of von Willebrand factor because of the disease, you have low functioning factor 8. Other causes include hemophilia type A, which is a factor 8 deficiency. And here you would have normal von Willebrand factors, but reduced factor 8. Other causes include hemophilia B, which is a factor 9 deficiency. There can also be presence of inhibitors, such as inhibitors against factor 8, as well as lupus anticoagulant. Just going back to factor 8, interesting. Factor 8 inhibitors prevent factor 8 function, which is activating factor 10. This means clotting is not effective and one bleeds more easily. As we have also learned, von Willebrand factor binds to factor VIII and increases its half-life. During the coagulation cascade, when a little bit of thrombin is initially produced, thrombin actually stimulates coagulation further by releasing the bond between factor VIII and von Willebrand factor, amplifying the coagulation cascade. You can learn more about the coagulation cascade in my separate video. Prolonged thrombin time, which is TT, measures the final step of the coagulation cascade. Causes of a prolonged thrombin time in direct thrombin inhibitors such as dabigatran and hypofibrinogenemia. Then you have bleeding disorders with a normal aPTT and a normal PT. Causes include platelet issues, which we've learned is primary hemostasis, von Willebrand disease, the mild form, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, where there is an issue of collagen. This causes weak vessels, which can easily rupture. Scurvy, which is vitamin C deficiency, causes issues with collagen as well. Other causes include hereditary hemorrhagic telangiectasia, where you have arteriovenous malformations, as well as, which causes easy hemorrhage. Osteogenesis imperfecta. Steroid use has also been shown to weaken the vessels, and so you get easy bruising. So in summary, in this video we talked about the types of bleeding disorders caused by issues in primary hemostasis or secondary hemostasis. Bleeding disorders coming from primary hemostasis involves problems with platelets, either too little or there's platelet dysfunction. Bleeding disorders coming from secondary hemostasis can be evaluated with aPTT and PT as well as TT.